Hey, welcome back to the J and Z podcast. This is Jay.
I'm Z.
This week we reviewed the first Terminator movie.
Come with me if you want to live.
Staying on the 80s train. Last week we did Top Gun. Easily top 10 movie of all time, right?
For you. See, it's top 10 for you. It's like top 30. Get wrecked.
I'll be right back.
Please don't leave. Please don't leave me. It's dark in this room. No. So we are riding the 80s train, and we chose to do Terminator this weekend because we did Top Gun, and I'm a really big Terminator fan. Like I've told people this before. I'm in an abusive relationship with the Terminator franchise because I've seen all of the movies, and if you've seen the movies, you know how bad they can get. So, but I'm a big fan of this franchise.
Yeah, I was watching this first one, and I was actually comparing a lot of the technology that they talked about in this movie, about like the future and what the future was supposed to look like. And I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I think they actually depicted the future in the best way that they could have done theatrically, because the directors are like, it's going to be dark.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of explosions, and you're not going to see a lot, which is perfect. It's perfect. It's like the exact opposite of what Back to the Future did. Back to the Future was like more lighting, more random signs, because, it's 30 years in the future. Who's going to remember this?
Make it bright. Make it very, very bright.
Right, yeah. But I was thinking, like, I read this article this week about, like, an Apple employee talking about, like, microchips that they were creating for, like, to get smaller and smaller iPhones or whatever, like, better battery, yeah.
Oh, no.
And, but in the article, they were like, at some point, or maybe it was Elon Musk that had said this.
Wouldn't it be like, we need to put, that's Arnold. Sorry, let me cut that one.
But yeah, he basically was like, at some point, we're just going to have like a microchip in our arm, and we're going to be able to like drive Teslas. Exactly.
Mark of the Beast.
And I was like, so at what point in the future does they say, Tesla has gone to the board to rename themselves Skynet?
Right, exactly. Like, well, see, what we're going to do is we're going to start with microchips, and then we're going to work on cyborgs.
I'm a cyborg.
And then we're going to start Skynet. But Skynet, it's just going to be another new car, like the Tesla. It's going to be the self-driving car.
It makes you think, like, did Elon Musk find the Terminator's arm and it's sitting in some, like, chamber in a Tesla laboratory? And
that's like, horrifying.
Yeah, he's like, it's called a Cybertruck. Sorry, Cybertruck.
It's self-driving. If your name's Sarah Connor, though, good luck.
Happy Hunger Games.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But no, so we're going to go through our favorite moments. My first question for you, and I've asked this before with our previous movies, do you remember the first time you saw this? Or was the weekend the first time you've seen this?
No. I've seen this plenty of times before. I like the Terminator franchise, but it's exactly what you said. It's like, it bums me out big time. Because I'm like, this is great. I watched the second one. I actually think the second one's better.
Yeah.
Please don't yell at me.
I prefer the first one.
I think the second one's really good. The villain, I can't remember the actor's name.
Robert Patrick.
In this, that dude is horrifying.
He doesn't blink. He made a cameo in Wayne's World. If you've seen Wayne's World, where Wayne is like pulled over by a cop, and he's like, great, a cop. And the guy walks up and he goes,
"Have you seen this boy?"
That's really funny.
Yeah, I'll never forget. That's probably one of my favorite cameos.
I think I saw it in middle school because my mom, she was born in like the early 70s, I think. And so she grew up with a lot of 80s movies. And so there was like a stint, and I think like middle school, early high school, where she made me watch a lot of 80s movies like Top Gun, License to Drive, Weird Science, Terminator. And of course, as like a 16-year-old boy, I was like, put the one on with the machine guns and the robots. Put that one back really on with the machine guns and not 16 candles. Turn off the candles. Put on the robots.
I was gonna ask because, like, for me when I was a kid, my dad was like, "Hey, I know you're a fat, chubby little boy. Are you interested in becoming muscular?" And as a kid, I'd be like, "Yeah, I want to be muscular." And so my dad's like, I could solve this with a little bit of Arnold. And so we would do like Saturday nights where he'd rent like an action movie. I remember he rented Terminator. So I watched Terminator as a kid, which in hindsight, it's like, it's a pretty screwed up movie to show your kid.
It's scary, yeah.
We'll get to certain parts. But I remember the sex scene happens, and as it's happening, my dad goes, whoa, 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 and he gets up, stands up, tries blocking the TV, and my sister went, what are they doing? And my dad's like, nothing. And he's hitting like the DVD player to like fast forward it. But it's just going slow motion. So it's like, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. So it was just funny, like the fact that like my dad was fine with me watching Arnold pull his skin off and rip his eye off, but just seeing two actors be like, oh, Reese, my dad's like, whoa, gross, hey, disgusting.
Think of your dad's logic for a second. He's like, you can watch a man cut into another man and replace certain parts of his body, but if you watch a girl pop a titty, you're grounded.
I feel like that's for a lot of people, though. Like, a lot of people I've talked to around our age, it's always been like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, perfect. Walking Dead, perfect. Oh, yeah. But, like, if two people kiss, it's just like, so a mommy and daddy does this when they're married, and that's it. You never do anything else like that. It's fine. The chainsaw's going through the head. It's okay. But I swear to God, if someone cops a feel, I'm turning it off.
This is the same thing, though, like with video games. Like,
100%.
I asked my mom, I was like, why can't I play Grand Theft Auto? And she's like, well, because there's, like, women in the movie that expose themselves. And I was like, not the fact that I can, like, go into a police station with a bazooka. Like, that's not what you're worried about. And she's like, oh, no. She's like, that's fine. That's totally fine.
That's 100% fine. But if I see you in a car and the car starts shaking and your health starts going up, I am going to turn off that game.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. Because in other countries, I don't want to get on a rant, but in other countries, it's the complete opposite. Like, I've seen documentaries where they're like, we're really open about the body. Like, people and sexuality and all that, but like if someone gets a hammer to the head, it's immediately like cut. Like they won't show those movies. So it's like it's just the opposite sides. It's like I'm like meet in the middle. Like I don't want to have my 10-year-old see like Monsters Ball while Halle Berry's getting down, but I also don't want my kid to see fucking like Martyrs or Texas Chainsaw Massacre where someone gets hit in the head and served on a dish.
So this is my approach with that. If I'm thinking about being a parent, I don't want my kid to watch a movie that's going to create questions. Like, you think of your sister as an example where she goes, Dad, what's happening? I don't want that. I want all of the movies to answer all of the questions. And so, for me, I think I agree with you. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. But it's so weird. It's like I remember I watched, it was you probably know this. It was a movie with Charlie Sheen where he never leaves the car. Like, he's just constantly in a car.
Oh.
Maybe it's not Charlie Sheen. I don't know. But the whole movie takes place in a car. Like, the whole movie. He's getting chased by cops and all this stuff. And he's, like, throwing stuff at the cops, like, yelling profanities.
I don't know.
Very similar to your story. And then the girl, like, leans over to, like,
get downtown.
Yeah. And then my mom's like, we're done. I'm like... as a kid, I didn't, like, the implications in my brain were, I was like, oh, she dropped her phone. She was going to go lean over to his seat and grab her phone because she dropped her phone on the ground because there's no reason why she would be doing anything else. And my mom immediately was like, I didn't know. Stop.
You're like, Mom, why is that guy in pain? Exactly. I completely get that. I think the hard thing,
Why is he pushing down the gas pedal?
Right? I think the hard thing about it, though, is, like, even a movie like Shrek can ask questions. Like,
oh, true.
Yeah, like, you watch Shrek, and there's a couple scenes where it's like, as a kid, I'm surprised I didn't ask more questions.
So, that must be Lord Farquaad's castle.
That's the place.
Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?
But
I'm not surprised I didn't ask. More questions because I was a dumb kid.
Yeah, no, I asked so many questions. My parents were like, just shut your mouth and go to sleep.
Well, my dad's go-to answers, I was like, how come every night the moon comes out? He goes, well, because, like, space and the universe. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And he's like, well, so magic. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yes, a magician makes sense. I've heard of this guy named Houdini.
Yeah, Houdini checks out. This universe bullshit? No.
That doesn't make sense. But bringing it back to Terminator, I saw that movie as a kid, and like that was my thing. Is every Saturday, I'm gonna date myself, but every Saturday we would go to Hollywood Video and we would rent like
Hollywood Video.
I know.
Wow.
I called them. I called Hollywood Video before as a kid.
With your
landline.
Oh, your
with my landline.
You like would spin the dial.
Right, couldn't use the internet. Yeah. Welcome to 1940. I'd like to rent the Terminator movie, please. But no, so I remember every Saturday we would get like the new or an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Like that was what we would watch.
Yeah.
And when I saw Terminator 2, that was one of the first movies I cried at because I'm a crybaby bitch. I'll cry over anything. And I remember I was like turning my head away and my sister was like, is that going to make you cry? And I was just like, no, it's just he's throwing a thumbs up and he's sacrificing himself and the music's making me sad.
Your sister sounds like that mean girl
off 100%.
Of Rugrats.
Oh yeah, Angelica. Yeah. Give me your cookies.
Yeah.
But no, so with Terminator, we're going to hop around to our favorite moments.
Yeah, and so for me, the reason why I like it, I'm a huge Batman fan, and my favorite comic book of
Listen
all
to the
time-
Dark Knight episode that we made, as well as the new Batman one. We have that on our YouTube page, as well as our Spotify page.
Absolutely, self-plug, is Batman versus Predator, which you actually bought me, that comic. It's really dark. It's like really grotesque and intense, but it's just perfect Batman. Like detective stuff happens, beats the shit out of Predator, super cool. But when I was a kid, I watched the Terminator movies the same time I watched the Predator movies. And the first movie, I think the reason why I don't like it as much as the second one is because it genuinely terrified me.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, as a kid, I believed literally anything I heard, and so I'm like, okay, so you mean to tell me, let me get my notes out. So, someone from the future that's not a human but looks like a human is a robot, can walk into a nightclub with a shotgun and just go crazy.
Go ham.
And no one can stop him. He can blow up an entire police station, like no one can, okay, cool. And then I watched Predator movies where I'm like, oh, okay, so basically he creates this creature to hunt for sport because he's unstoppable.
Right.
Ooh. Like, it scared the crap out of me. And then I like Terminator 2 because it takes that fear and it goes, no.
There's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. You can go to sleep now. He's a good guy.
He's going to protect you.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because I was not getting sleep these last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like, that just terrified me that this thing could not be stopped.
That was actually something that we'll get to, that I had a moment like that as a kid with Terminator.
Yeah.
But so pretty popular, pretty common. But something called Skynet, year 2029, and Skynet creates these cyborgs to kill off the human race. There's the Resistance with John Connor. And the movie is about two Terminators that go back to the 1980s, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Kyle Reese.
Yep.
And Kyle Reese has to protect Sarah Connor because Sarah gets pregnant and gives birth to John Connor, the Resistance leader.
Yeah. And
that's the plot of the movie.
One of my favorite things that we talk about on the podcast is like just picturing the writer's room.
Yes.
Coming up with this movie. Because, like, let's think about Terminator, right? They're like, one of the writers, and I'm going to give him a weird voice, he's going to go, okay, everybody, we need to talk about time travel. Yeah. Let me smoke this Marlboro Red. How is the Terminator going to go back in time? And everyone's going to go, oh, there's going to be, like, a big explosion. He'll go back through, and then some creepy guy with the hood
I think I know where you're going with this.
He's going to say, that's perfect, but he has to be naked.
Can you make him naked?
Yeah.
I need to see dong.
Yeah.
No female nudity.
But, like,
I need to see bars.
It's so weird. Of like, they have the perfect script, and I'm just probably some weirdo is like, this is all great. Can they be naked when they go back?
Can I see their ding dong?
It's so fun. Like, what if it was written in after the fact? Like Arnold read the script. He's like, oh, this is so good. I love this. And then they're like, okay. There's been a quick edit here, Arnold, on page 3. The director wants you to come into shot nude.
Naked.
And he goes, why? And he's like, no, just, we'll give you more money.
Exactly. It's like, well, when you go in time, your clothes disappear.
Yeah, like maybe he's like trying to explain it to him. He's like, well, when you time travel, molecules get rearranged and your cloak's particles, and Arnold's like, yeah, that all makes sense.
Or someone saw him weightlifting and they're like, you know, that guy probably has a big ding dong. Like, let's see if we can see some of that. I was watching it with my girlfriend and I was like, oh yeah, Arnold hangs dong in like 5 seconds. And it's like, yeah, because he's walking and the light just goes boop, 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 boop. It's just like, oh wow, that's his dick.
Yeah.
That's his dick.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Anytime
It's funny.
see that in a movie, it's just like it doesn't make sense. I'm like, Who
wrote that?
Because you have to think about it. Anything in a movie was written into the movie. It wasn't like, oh, it's just like a
it wasn't improvised.
can we run this shot one more time? I'm just gonna get freaky real quick.
I'm just gonna get naked. If you could just make it look huge, can we do a hey Cameron? Can we do an extreme close up? Makeup person, can you come here for a second? I need a little bit of powder right here. I want to look like Michelangelo, the statue. I also think because we've done time travel before with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And here's a good question. What storyline do you think makes more sense? Like with time? Back to the Future or like the first Terminator 2? Because if you go to the other Terminators, it gets so fucked. Like, I'd have to grab 3 whiteboards and I'd have to have 3 hours of your time.
Yeah, that's such a good question because the first question I guess you have to answer when you think about time travel is time travel linear or is it like dimensional? Like, is there different dimensions or is time linear? You know what I mean? And so like, if you think about like the metaverse or whatever in DC and Marvel, there's different dimensions.
No, I know.
Batman.
Yeah.
But like, and then it's like, okay, if time's linear, which I think this movie is basically trying to tell a story.
Yes.
I don't know. Everything gets really, really tricky because then you have the effect that Doc in Back to the Future was so concerned about as to like, if you talk to your mom, you're going to destroy all the time in the future.
Yeah.
So it's like Reese going back in time. How much did he like... Because like, if you think about it, there's literally no way someone could go back in time and only change one event.
Right, exactly. By the way, spoiler alert if you haven't watched this, because we're going to spoil the hell out of this.
If you haven't seen the first Terminator in 2022...
Go fuck yourself.
I know. It's just, it's hard to say because you have to basically understand how time travel works. And we have no idea.
I would say that this one, it feels a lot more linear because a character has to die in this one. It's not like, oh, well, I have to stay alive in order for you to stay alive, and then we're going to stay alive, and then this. It's like, no. Someone has to die in this situation so that you can further like move things along. Also, too, in this movie, like time travel is a component. It's not the essence of. No.
Back to the Future.
Oh, that's the essence. That's everything.
Yeah,
that's everything.
Steven Spielberg is like, I have figured out time travel, and this is what it looks like.
Exactly.
And today we go, Steven Spielberg, you're insane.
Yeah, exactly. How much money do you have again? How much are you worth?
Yeah.
But so with the Terminator, there's a lot of things that are kind of cool about this. So when James Cameron wrote this movie, because he was the writer for this movie, he would sleep on like friends' couches. He'd sleep in his car. Like he came up with a script and everything. And this is really dark. But originally they wanted to cast O.J. Simpson as a Terminator. But they were like, well, OJ's...
He's the running back for...
The murderer. The murderer, O.J. Simpson. They wanted to cast him, but they were like, nah, O.J.'s too nice. He's too much of a nice guy. Like, there's nothing dark about him.
I'm literally gritting my teeth right now. Yeah, that's really rough, because it's funny that you mentioned that. I was watching a bunch of... I was feeling nostalgic about Norm Macdonald, and I was watching a bunch of old Weekend Updates that he did.
Best.
He got fired from the show because he made too many O.J. Simpson jokes.
Oh, but they're so good.
Every single one of them.
Bangers.
Absolute fire.
Absolute bangers. Please do check that out. Like, his Weekend Updates, Norm Macdonald's Weekend Updates are the best. They're my favorite.
Yeah. And I'm probably going to totally butcher this joke, but my favorite one that he did is O.J. came out with a book that was something titled, like...
If I Did It.
Or like, it's what I didn't tell you.
Oh, of course.
Just like, it was like the definition of clickbait in a book.
In a book.
Yeah, and Norm Macdonald's joke was basically like, yeah, in the book, OJ talks about how he would jump in front of a train for Nicole, how he would take a bullet for Nicole, and she's one of the most unluckiest people in the world, that the one guy that would take a bullet for her kills her.
Do you get it?
Do you get it? Because OJ's a murderer. And he just he literally wouldn't stop. Like, he just made joke after joke. And it, like, apparently one of the writers was like, Norm, dude, you need to chill out. Like, you're irritating people. And apparently what he said is, he's like, I knew some jokes weren't going to land, but they had to be said.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, that's
so respect.
Badass.
So much respect.
So cool.
But I just think it's weird. It's just like, yeah, so he almost got cast for Terminator. Mel Gibson almost got cast for Terminator.
Which would be from Daddy's Home?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And only Daddy's Home. Nothing else.
Mel Gibson actually would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting.
I think what made Arnold actually a great Terminator is his accent.
Yes, and he actually had more lines, but he was supposed to have more lines, and James Cameron was like, no, what's scarier is if you have less lines. It's true. He has 12 lines in the movie.
Well, and the thing too is like I feel like people in America are like, you don't have an American accent, robot.
Especially back then, they're like, that you're freakish.
Yeah,
like,
you must be some kind of machine built by Russia, you weirdo.
Yeah, like, look the way you look. Only a machine could make a man like that.
Do you know when Arnold filmed Pumping Iron?
I believe that was 1979.
So Terminator was after.
Oh yeah, Terminator was afterwards, because
he's got some interesting lines.
Yes, milk is for babies, beer's for men.
That was a documentary, basically.
Yeah, well, it was a documentary. Yeah, because he's like, pumping is like coming
for your whole body.
Yeah, he got high in that for Lou Ferrigno. He's like, happy birthday, Louie. Like, because I don't want to. This isn't turning to the Arnold podcast.
No, I one quick thing as we can move on for Arnold. There's a picture of him that I want to get blown up. It's a big ass poster in our podcast room right here. Yeah. Because it's him with a glass of wine, smoking a joint, and he's in a white T-shirt that says "Arnold is numero uno."
That's amazing.
It's so good.
That's so good. Yeah, because he did Pumping Iron, and then he did Conan the Barbarian, but he had to lose a little bit of muscle because he couldn't wield the sword. Can you imagine being so big that the director's like, Arnold, you can't move your body like that. You need to lose some. I have to lose some of my muscle. Yes, you do, because you can't fucking move the sword. You're too big.
His lats are basically like wings.
Basically, yeah. All the barbarians are like, oh, fuck that guy. I'm not going over the Conan the Destroyer. Because no, he did Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah, Conan the I can't scratch my back.
Exactly, without popping my back. No, because then he did a Terminator. But again, we're hopping around here. But so Arnold as the Terminator goes back in time, and he starts. See, this was a moment where I was rewatching, and I was like, if I was Sarah Connor, I would leave after the first death.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's like what or thought, not idea, but like what would if you're in Sarah Connor's shoes, because it's like. I'm not a huge horror movie person.
I am. I love It's in My Blood.
I said a horror movie, and his eyes just went like, he looked like a child on Christmas Day. So, for me, it's kind of borderline a horror movie.
It is.
He's like, okay, I'm going to go through the phone book, and I'm going to kill... okay, that's another fucking weird thing to talk about, is your name and address were in the phone book.
Oh, yeah.
And now people nowadays are like, I don't want to have internet banking because they can hack in and steal my soul.
It's like your name and everything was in a book in public. Like, did you ever, again, gonna date myself, did you ever use a phone book or phone booth? Like, were you ever around a phone booth?
The one time I remember using a phone book, am I saying that right?
Phone book, yeah. Have you ever, phone book. Phone book.
I was in elementary school or like early middle school, and they wanted us to like pick a job to like that or a career that sounded interesting. And I just flipped the page, and it was a veterinary clinic. And I ripped the page out, and I like put it in like we were doing a like collage of like careers or something like that.
That's really cool.
Little stupid.
I mean, it's dumb, but like I would have been like, I'm gonna be a movie person.
Well, yeah, because that was the thing. There was nothing in the phone book, and so I was like, okay, do I want to work at a Korean restaurant or do I want to be a veterinarian? And so I like put it on this collage thing, and I went home, and my mom's like, oh, that's so cool. You want to be a veterinarian? Like, what made you want to do that? And I'm like, I don't like animals. She's like, why did you...
So...
And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
You got me.
Yeah, you got me.
I remember we got my dad and sister and I, we got lost downtown and we had to walk to a phone booth at like 11 o'clock at night. And my dad kept saying, it's an adventure. It's an adventure. And I was like, Dad, why is there weird strangers looking at us? It's an adventure.
That's like when your parent says it's an adventure.
It's not an adventure. It's your parents having a crisis.
Yeah, it's like if you think back in time as a kid, there's like trigger phrases that your parents use. Like when just your dad takes you to dinner and he says, Jared, you can get whatever you want on the menu.
Hi,
and
Dad.
I go, okay, Dad, is Mom going to join us? And he goes, anything on the menu.
That's so true. Because, yeah, when the Terminator, he goes to the phone booth, which I thought this was kind of funny. He just grabs, the entire movie, he grabs people and just throws them. Like, he grabs the guy who's like, hey, what the hell? And he throws him, and he grabs the phone book and just starts running through it, grabs the page with Sarah Connor. Like, the entire movie, he's just grabbing people out of things and just chucking them. He throws them like DJ Jazzy Jeff from Fresh Prince gets thrown out of the house.
Oh, yeah, it's a great connection.
But no, if I was Sarah and I saw like one Sarah Connor gets killed and her friend, like whoever she works with, is really shitty because she's like, oh my god, Sarah, you're gonna think this is hilarious. Like, just hold your laughter. A girl with your name, she died and she was killed. Isn't that funny?
That would piss me off so much.
I'd be like, what the why? What are you doing?
I don't like really getting scared. And I remember one time, you and me were much, much younger, and I was walking you back to your house, and it was dead at night, and the sprinklers were going off, which it scares me already. Like when it's dark out, and I just hear noises. I just just like thoughts in my head just get intrusive. And I remember I got to like the halfway mark, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you walk back to your house. I'm gonna walk back to mine, and you're like, okay, cool. Just a random thought. What if like the sprinklers just started spraying blood, and then some guy down the street had his eyes on his hands and went and started chasing us, and you went, all right, have a good night. And I just was like frozen in time, and I'm like, run.
Why would you put those thoughts in my head?
Yeah, but it's like that's exactly what her roommate or whoever she was doing in the movie. She's like, oh my god, someone with your name, your exact name, brutally murdered someone with a silenced pistol.
Isn't that so funny? As everybody's smoking, that was something like watching anything now. It's so weird seeing people smoking because I feel like a lot of stuff that I watch recently or anything that's come out, I don't see anybody smoking. So everybody's like so casually like cooking food and just so I was talking to Tony the other day. It's just like okay, but something that I really like about this movie is that it starts really quick. Like, it starts out with Arnold beating the shit out of people, but Kyle Reese, like, he changes pants, and all of a sudden the cops are there, and they're like, I don't know who the fuck that guy is, but arrest him. So they chase him down, and he has to break in and fight a cop for a shotgun. Like, it really throws you into the action, and that's something, like, it's been voted as a horror movie, and it's like, especially near the end, there are some real horror moments.
I would say if not, and I think this is where you have more knowledge than I do, if not a horror, then a thriller, for sure.
100%.
If we want to do favorite scenes next, I think for me...
Let's do it.
And this is just, it's too iconic for it not to be, it's the police station scene.
Yes. I'm here to see Sarah Connor.
Yeah, and it's so funny, too, because, like, I was watching an interview with Arnold, and he talked about, like, his just rise to stardom because of Pumping Iron and Terminator. And, I just feel kind of bad for, like, these celebrities that are known for these just, like, one-liners. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, people will come up to me on the street, and they'd say, I'll be back, say it. Like, and think about, like, back then, too, like, people, like, voicemail was a big thing. Like, say, I'll be back as, like, my voicemail. And then it's, like, I think of other actors that this probably happened to, like, oh, God, what was his name? Ken Jeong?
Oh, yeah, where he's just, like, you know...
Yeah, he's like, in my voicemail from The Hangover, can you say, toodaloo, motherfucker?
Yeah, can you say, do you fuck on me?
Yeah, it's like, can you say, suck on my balls
2 times?
Yeah, like... These poor actors that just get, like, not only typecasted, but have one just pivotal line. Just
pigeonholed.
In their entire career. Like, that lived with Arnold, like, today.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about it today. like 40 years in the future.
People walking up to Dave Chappelle and be like, "I'm Rick James, bitch. Say it. Say it. Come on. Everybody's looking at you. Say it."
You're a bad person if you don't say it.
Yeah, that would definitely be annoying for Arnold. Just having everybody just be like, "I'll be back."
Yeah.
And did you know that? One fun fact. So it was supposed to be "I'll come back."
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like "I'll come back," but they were like, "Okay, that sound just cut the word," and so
weird,
yeah, so say "I'll be back," and he was like, "That's stupid," but okay, "I'll be back."
Yeah, and then it's just cinematic gold.
Yeah, exactly. I
really like the police station scene because for like one reason it really scared me, but it's also shot really well. Like rewatching it. If you ask me when I was a kid what my favorite scene was, I would not say that. No. But it's the scene where like he finally gets into the police station and is like killing all like everyone around him, just causing destruction. And it's that video of Reese, and he looks at the camera and he's like, "Do you believe me now? Do you believe?" And I'm like, "Holy fuck, dude, we get it. Okay, we get it. You're a crazy man from the future. Give me your ray gun so we can kill this guy."
Seriously, and it doesn't help the situation because it's just like, she's gonna get killed. He's gonna rip her skin off. And she's watching it. Like, no one's like, "Okay, dude, turn it off. It's like, he's gonna rip her fucking heart out. And she's like, "I can't watch this." And the cops are like, "This is fine. He's just talking about pulling her skull out. Like, and making her look at it. Like, this is just, don't turn it off."
Oh, what else are we gonna watch, Tim? It's Friday.
Exactly. No one does shit. And it's like, someone should have just shut that off. And even the chubby guy's like, sorry that I had you. It's like, yeah, no, I wanted to hear about some guy that I just encountered that came into a nightclub and shot everybody like Grand Theft Auto is gonna rip my heart out and make me look at it like Kali Ma style.
Yeah. The interesting thing too that I would like, I don't know if it would be like comedic relief, but if Sarah asked Reese more questions about the future,
yeah,
like if she was like, "Okay, yeah, so like Skynet, cool. Okay, Terminator's perfect. Okay, gotta protect my son, awesome." So like, just out of curiosity, like Super Bowl 39, like who wins that? And he's like, "Oh, Patriots, I think." Oh yeah, cool. World Series, like the Cubs.
No, this is trying to get back to the Future Part 2. Just like you're telling me my son was in a DeLorean?
She just like asks him all these random questions. She's like, "Okay, like as an example, okay, like what if like I went to go to the ponies and like if there was a really fast one that you remember?" He's like, "No, stop it."
Right, it's just like, let's just turn this into Back to the Future.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that would be like maybe comedic relief if she'd like ask questions like about the future, because like that was kind of some of the funny parts in Back to the Future where like the girl, Marty's girlfriend, was like, "Oh, do we have kids and where do we live?" Blah, blah, blah. And Doc just puts a device. To
just shut up, shut your head, shut your mouth, shut your mouth.
She just knocks out. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was just really funny. You know what's funny though is when you think about the time travel. It helps alleviate plot holes to not take anything with you, because then it's like, you know, if like maybe that was their thinking, is like Reese is like, "Okay, well just come back with like a plasma cannon and melt his skull."
Right.
Like destroy his machine head with a plasma cannon. But then it's like, yeah, no movie. So
yeah, exactly. It's I would also say that the police station scene's pretty great. I do think it's funny though. If you watch when Arnold drives the car into the police station and hits the cop, it's an obvious dummy because the dummy goes and like smash. It looks like Mythbusters when they would like drive a car in, like a crash test dummy.
Like
it just gets
gel.
Yeah, it just gets thrown back. So that's a really good scene. The action is really good. Like there's a fire that gets started in the police station and someone's breaking in while Sarah's like hiding, and it's actually Reese, and he's like, "Come on, move." The part that I was thinking about that freaked me out even watching it now, it's like, I know there's sequels, but when she's just like, she's trying to leave and get away from it, and he's like, it will kill you, like it will destroy you and everything. It doesn't feel pain. It won't die until it's completely melted your skin off. Like he's just super serious about it. And even as an adult, I'm like, oh fuck, how are they gonna get out of this? Like, I know there's 20 movies, but how are they gonna get out of this? But I really liked the one thing that's creepy about this movie to me, the scariest thing about the movie, like everything's fine, like Arnold being a robot and killing people, totally get that, him pulling his eye, whatever. it's him being able to change his voice.
Yeah, when she calls oh god.
Yeah, when she's in the cabin and it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what's happened to you. And she's like, Mom, it's okay. And it just cuts and the camera's slowly turning and the entire house, like you can see the windows broken. Arnold's wearing his shades and he's like, where are you, honey? And she's like, oh, we're up in Big Bear and we're at a hotel room number 25. And he's like writing it down and he's like, 25, you got that. And then he like clicks off, puts the phone back up. Do you have any reservations? It's like, oh my god, like the whole voice changing thing, even in the sequel, like the voice changing to make it sound like someone that you love and know, that freaks me out.
Yeah, nowadays, if there was thoughts of Terminators, I'd be like, oh, okay, Mom, for sure. FaceTime me.
Yeah, right.
FaceTime me.
FaceTime
me or you're a fucking liar.
Exactly. It's like the are you a robot check mark. It's like,
exactly. Click the 3 trains on the screen.
I do not know which trains they are. Robot. Cyborg, melt him.
Yeah. I had one final thought that is it's so dumb, but I was laughing really hard when I was thinking about it. Like, so the whole point of Reese going back in time is because Reese is the dad of the guy that leads the resistance. But what if he had like performance anxiety?
Yeah, he's just like, so no baby, no John Connor.
He's like, I just gotta go splash some water in my face.
And he probably smells like dick cheese because he puts the homeless guy's pants on. He hasn't showered, and she's like, "Oh my god, you've never been with anybody? Like, how is she like?" Like how he doesn't even shower yet.
No.
It's really gross. But I would say that like from my own personal experience watching it as a kid, when it's dying. And so when everything catches on fire and you hear that da-na-na-na-na-na, which I love the theme. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, I love the theme. Like throughout the entire movie it plays and it just gives me chills. Well, it starts playing and she's like, Reese, get up. Like, it's okay. It's okay. And then it's cheesy now because it's obviously CGI. But when it's the metal cyborg, as a kid, I was like, that's illegal. You can't do that. That's illegal. It's dead. It's dead. That's illegal. Dad, it's illegal. And it like comes up and Reese dying freaked me out. Because I was like, she's all alone. She doesn't know how to do this. Like, even as a kid, I was just like, it's not going to stop. But I just love when she's like, you're Terminator, fucker. And it just...
Yeah.
Like, that's great. I love the ending with her doing the recording and having the picture and the guy being like, you know, there's a storm coming. And she's like, I know. And then she drives off and it's like... Oh, God. It just gives me... It gives me chills.
It's a great movie. It's one of those movies where you have to, like... really just appreciate it for like what it is.
Yeah.
Because the CGI back then, like you look at it now and you're like,
oh god, I could do better.
It looks like South Park animation.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like back then, I was talking to my dad about it, who loves this like series of movies, and he was like, you have to realize that was like people in the theaters were like, oh my god, like their eyes were melting, like oh my god, movie magic, like it was mind-boggling at the time. And now it's so funny because I think about CGI nowadays, and it's just like you can literally watch someone's head get cut off, which looks so perfectly realistic, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah. Where it's like, or like the Saw movies where it's like, the key is in your eye. And
yeah, exactly.
Like,
and
okay, that makes sense.
And people are just sleeping to that. They're like, they're cutting their what up? Oh god, this is boring. Yeah, I've seen that on Facebook Live.
Yeah, in the 80s, they're like, he's fixing his own. Sweetie, get the kids. We're leaving the theater.
Yeah, I need to throw up.
Yeah.
It's an obvious puppet now, but like when you watched it back then, it's like even now when he's pulling his eye off, I was like, that's yucky.
It's pretty gross.
I'd say that this gun to my head, this is my favorite Terminator, but T2 has my favorite ending. Like all time, Terminator 2, it's literally, it's not my favorite, but it has my favorite ending of all time.
I love that that's your example, is you're leaving a 7-Eleven and someone sticks a gun in their back and goes, what's your favorite Terminator movie?
I don't like Terminator 1. Terminator. I know, because I have to make it extreme, because if it's not extreme, then my brain's like, I'll have mashed potatoes or I'll have sweet potatoes.
Number 2 is my favorite, but this will be a mini-series. We're going to do all 3 of them.
We're going to do all 10 of them. I'm kidding.
We're going to do all 3 because there are no other Terminator movies that are worth watching.
Our time. I was going to say worth our time.
But yeah, it's a great movie. I would say if I were to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, I think it's a solid 7.5, 8.
I would give it about a 9.5. Like I really think that if there was just this one, it would be perfect on its own. Like obviously the sequel is really amazing, but this is a movie where I'm like, even like on its own with the budget that they had, with them having to literally like grab a camera and be like, Arnold, Put on the fucking jacket. Put on the fucking jacket. All right, we're gonna film. Okay, yeah, you're getting chased. Okay, we gotta go. The cops are coming. We need the cops are coming. We're gonna get arrested because you just pulled out a silencer in the middle of the mall. Let's just go. Like, I respect that so much, and it's just, I don't know. It's one of those movies that I think from top to bottom is great. It's a great theme. It's a lot darker of a theme than T2, but I'm excited to talk about T2. I haven't seen it in a long time. If you want to watch the original Terminator, you can watch it on YouTube for free.
For free? Oh, wow.
Dude, you're like, I spent $30 on watching it?
Yeah, really? Because I just spent $900 trying to find that movie.
Yeah, right. Just trying to find the rare VHS bootleg copy. It's been like, yeah, I just spent my child's savings.
I only found it on eBay. You're telling me that there's a digital copy?
That's free?
Yeah,
unsubscribe.
I think this was a great episode. I'm really excited for Terminator 2. Let us know what you think. Watch the first one, watch the second one. We'll do the third as well, and then we're gonna stop. And then we're not gonna watch any more Terminator movies because they're not worth watching.
I'm a completist though, so I might just torture myself and my girlfriend and be like, "We're gonna watch all of them," and she's gonna be like, "You're gonna watch yourself being single."
See, I'm gonna watch them with my girlfriend as well, and then we're gonna finish the third one, and I'm gonna go. And that was it.
And that was it.
That was it. And nothing else happened after that.
The franchise ended in 2003. Isn't it wild?
Yeah, and she's like, was it Christian Bale? And I was like, no. Fake news.
Did she watch Terminator? Or did you just watch it? Oh, you watched it. Yeah, you just watched it.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah. But we watched it, I think, the last time at like New Year's. But yeah.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
It was a good movie.
It's a lot different than Back to the Future, though. Because it's like, oh yeah, as a family, you can be like, guys, Marty McFly, this is a fun movie to watch. It can't be like, guys, sex scene happening right now. He's pulling his eye out right now. He's cutting into his skin. Dude, explosions. Oh yeah, a lot of cursing, a lot of people dying. Anyone want to be afraid for the future? No one? Why is everyone gone?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's it from us. This was a great episode. I'm excited to see you all next week for T2.
Yes.
Adios.
Adios.
I'll be back.
Hallelujah.